I want to talk a little bit today about friendship. And that's because Nicomachean Ethics has 10 books, the sort of big chapters that we've been working through. And of those 10 books, 2 of them are devoted to friendship. Aristotle takes just this big chunk of time in the second half of the book to talk about friendship. And so I want to first look at what I think is kind of the core of his theory of friendship, but furthermore, I want to think about why it's so important for Aristotle to talk about friendship. Because after all, we've seen that I am responsible for my own happiness. No one can ultimately do this for me. Happiness is an activity. And so therefore, I have to do it or not do it. No one can give me happiness. No one can make me happy. And second of all, we've already seen, we've dealt with the discussion of justice. We know it's important to treat other people well, so why take all of this extra time to talk about friendship? So I want to start by really getting into Aristotle's definition, how he's going to lay out friendship. And I think the really important thing here, Aristotle is going to lay out for you 3 different kinds of friendship. Now, 2 of those are going to turn out to be sort of friendship in scare quotes. One of these is going to turn out to be the really real friendship. But let's just start with a general sense of, well, what does it mean to have a friend? What does it mean to be a friend? And just very broadly, very generally, friends are people you like, right? And people who like you, they are your friends. And in fact, Aristotle's even going to go farther here to talk about love. That's the Greek philia. And so just this idea that you really like someone, you want to have them around. What does it mean to like somebody? Well, I mean, there are lots of different ways that you can like them. Do you like me? But here's the thing, Aristotle says, ultimately, there are 3 things that we love, 3 lovable things. Right? And they are utility, pleasure, and virtue. Now, what does that mean? First of all, you like things that are useful, don't you? You might like having forks around, and you're not super thrilled by forks, you're not amazed by forks, but still, a fork is useful, and so you like having a fork around, right? You can like something because it's useful, and that's reason enough to keep it around. Likewise, though, we love pleasure, right? We like pleasure. Pleasure is good. Even when that pleasure takes me someplace bad, I don't dislike the pleasure. I dislike the effects, right? So bad pleasures, something like heroin that's going to have a terrible withdrawal and leave me worse off. Okay, that's bad, but not because the pleasure is bad, but because the consequences afterwards are bad. So after all, we love pleasure. And then finally, of course, we love virtue. What does that mean? Well, first of all, Aristotle points out this is what we praise other people for, right? When someone is virtuous, even if that's not helping you out, you're still impressed. You go, wow, you're really good at that, right? You are really impressive. You've really accomplished something there. But furthermore, and I think more importantly, remember virtue, excellence. That is what it means to be happy. And so at the end of the day, what is the only thing we love for its own sake? Happiness. And so, after all, we love virtue because virtue, excellence, human excellence, that is happiness. So if there are ultimately then 3 kinds of things that we love, Aristotle says, this will easily correspond with 3 different kinds of friendship. He will say that there are friends of utility, friends of pleasure, and then of course a kind of friends of virtue, or what we'll call true friends in a few minutes. But friends of utility, this is to say you might like someone because they are useful to you. Now, this starts to sound uncomfortable, like you're using people, right? But I don't think it necessarily has to be, because after all, this can go 2 ways, right? You can be useful to someone, and they in turn can be useful to you, and you have a productive relationship, right? Think about your business partners. If you go into business with someone, okay, you might not say we're friends, but really there is a kind of friendship that develops there, right? You and they are working together to build something, to create something. It only makes sense that there's a certain kind of friendship that happens there. And so after all, if someone's constantly around to do you favors, you say, like this person is a friend to me, right? They are constantly helping me out. And likewise, those people that you are willing to help out, you say, well, look, I am being a friend to you, right? I am doing you this favor. Now, likewise, there are friends of pleasure, right? People who aren't necessarily useful to you, but people who bring you pleasure. So of course, I mean, this can be something like what back in college we called friends with benefits, right? But it doesn't have to be sexual pleasure, of course. If you have someone around who always makes you laugh, right? Oh, I love that guy, he's so funny, right? And so you have these people in your lives that you enjoy their company. And by enjoy their company, I just mean they bring you some kind of emotional or psychological pleasure. And so you've got your friends that you go out drinking with because they're fun to drink with. You've got your friends that you go to game night with because they are fun to play games with. Now, both of these, friends of utility and friends of pleasure, are a kind of friend. That's what I want to start out by pointing out. But here is the important point. If you have a friendship of utility, what happens when you stop being useful to one another? Well, typically what happens is that you drift apart. You've got a business partner, the business contract is concluded, you can no longer be of help to one another, your business is done, you go your separate ways. But likewise, a friend of pleasure, if the basis of your friendship is the pleasure you bring one another, then what happens when you're unable to do that? That person you keep around because they have such a great sense of humor, what happens when they are going through a rough patch and they're depressed and they aren't so funny anymore, right? You're kind of bumming me out. I tell you what, why don't you give me a call when you're in a better mood, right? Or those friends who are fun to go drinking with, if that's the basis of your relationship, and your friend says, hey, listen, I need to stop drinking for a month. You go, okay, well, call me up next month when you're ready to go drinking again, right? Because if the pleasure is the basis of our friendship, that's ultimately what I love. If the utility is the basis of our friendship, that is what I love. And now you might already start to see it, right? Because of course, if we wanted to go back and revise our definition of friend a little bit, we might say it's not just liking someone, it's caring about someone, right? I don't just like what you do for me or what you give to me, I like you, right? You don't just love me for what I can do, you love me. So what does it mean to really care about someone? And this is the really important, it's not a selfish issue, right? To really care about someone, you're not just in it for what they can do for you, you care about their well-being. And that's really where these friendships that start off as just friendships of pleasure or friendships of utility, I think you start to see them spilling over into real friendship the moment you start genuinely caring about each other. I kept you around because you were so funny, you always made me laugh, but I've come to care about you enough that if you're in a bad mood, I want to stick it out with you. We started as business partners, but I've come to care about you as a person. Even if we're not talking business, I want to see how you are. So what does it mean to care about someone? To really care about someone, to love someone, you have their best interests at heart. Now, what does it mean to have someone's best interest at heart? If you have their best interest at heart, you don't just want to agree with them, you don't just want whatever they want, you ultimately want what's best for them. I mean, think about the relationship between a good parent and a child, right? Nobody loves you the way a mother is supposed to love you, but what does it mean to say your mother loves you? It's not just that she gets happy every time she sees you, right? That proper love means they'll make hard decisions, and maybe decisions you don't like, simply because they see it's in your best interest. So of course, childhood offers up thousands of examples, right? I don't want to eat my vegetables, I don't want to go to bed, I don't want to take a bath. But notice this will even persist as we become adults and when we stop being in that parent-child relationship, right? If you really care about someone, you want what's best for them, and you might even find yourself trying to sort of nudge your friends along if you see them making bad decisions, right? So it's one thing to have a drinking buddy and he says to you, I've got a final to study for, and you say, hey, come on out though. I have fun when we drink together, you can study later. You start to notice it's become a real friendship when you say, you know what, I know you want to go out drinking, but I know you've got that exam to study for. Why don't I come over and help you study? And if we get done early, maybe we can get a drink, right? When you start to care about someone, you want what's in their best interests. And likewise, someone who genuinely cares about you wants what's best for you. Now, what is best for me? Well, haven't we been saying for several books of the Nicomachean Ethics now? What's best for me? The human good is virtue. And so if you're really my friend, what you want for me is to be virtuous, to be my best self, to live up to my potential, to achieve what I am capable of. So what does that mean? Well, that means if you see me slacking off, you don't enjoy slacking off with me. You see me making bad decisions and you call me out on them. Hey, you can do better. Hey, you should do better. Hey, how can I help you do better? Right? Your truest friends are not those people who will accept all of your failures, accept all of your shortcomings. Your truest friends are those who won't accept them. Your truest friends are those who are going to call you out on them, who are going to push you to overcome them, who are going to challenge you to do better. And in that way, we show each other that we genuinely want what's best for one another. This is ultimately why Aristotle says only virtuous people can be friends. Two people alike in virtue who recognize the virtue in one another. And that's because, after all, our friendship is based on helping the other one achieve everything they're capable of. And so true friendship between two people can only go upward, right? I help you be more virtuous, you challenge me to be more virtuous. We're constantly trying to sort of outdo each other, make it a friendly competition, motivate one another to succeed. What happens as soon as you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to get better, who actually wants to get worse? Well, if you genuinely want what's best for them, this is going to destroy you. You see someone going down a dark path, right? Self-destructive tendencies, giving it up, slacking off, not doing what they're capable of, and you feel like you have to call them out on it. And what happens when they say to you and make it very clear, no, I don't want to get better, I want to get worse, I want to destroy myself? I take it if you really care about that person, you can't just stick around and watch them do that, right? This is going to destroy me along right with you, so I got to get out of here, right? A true friend is going to push you to be better and help you to be better and challenge you to be better and inspire you to be better. But at the end of the day, if you won't be better, a true friend can't just stick around and watch you be bad. And so virtuous people can be friends with other virtuous people in as much as they're going to constantly keep building each other up, kind of constantly keep challenging each other and helping each other succeed. Now, this is the first reason that friends are so important to the pursuit of virtue and happiness, right? Your friends, your real friends, are there to call you out, to challenge you, to push you, to inspire you. We're there to help each other succeed. I mean, think about something like a fitness coach, right? Yeah, you could work out on your own and you think, oh, wow, I'm really doing this well, right? And then you go to a fitness coach and your fitness coach says, no, no, no. You think that's working hard? I'll show you working hard. Here's what I think you're capable of, right? And a good fitness coach isn't going to tell you to do things you can't do. A good fitness coach is going to tell you to do things you can do, but maybe aren't willing to push yourself to do. In the same way, a true friend is going to see how much more you're capable of, and they are going to push you, man, they're going to inspire you to actually achieve that. And in this way, having real true friends around us, that is going to help us actually succeed, actually rise up, actually really truly become happy. To have a friend like this, to care about someone like that, ultimately is to care about someone the same way you care about yourself. And Aristotle will even go on to say, a friend is another self. And so, of course, what this means is that there's another reason why friendship is so important. Because after all, if I am virtuous on my own, if I am happy on my own, I enjoy my excellence. I enjoy my happiness. And if I do this excellent human activity over the course of a good long life, I can enjoy a lifetime of human happiness. But here's the thing, if a friend is another self, then a virtuous friend, a happy friend, is someone whose happiness you can enjoy just as much as your own. There again, another test of real friendship, right? When your friend succeeds, does it make you seethe in jealousy? Does it make you envious? Does it make you bitter and hate in your heart? Or when your friend succeeds, are you thrilled for them? Do you enjoy their success as if it were your own? That's a real friend. But what that means is that if you are a successful, happy person with a true, successful, happy friend, you enjoy not one lifetime of happiness, but two. You enjoy your happiness and your friends. If you have just 2 or 3 real, genuine friends, you can enjoy 2 or 3 lifetimes of happiness. The happy person with friends can be that much happier than the happy person on their own. Now, I think it's worth pointing out that real, true friends like that, they are rare. Aristotle says as much. I think you'd be very, very fortunate at any given time to have a small handful of real, genuine friends, right? Because if it's just about enjoying pleasure together or enjoying utility, I can have lots of people in my life that I enjoy having around, lots of people in my life that are useful to me and to whom I can be useful. But people that I can care about as if they were myself, people that I can invest in, people that I can challenge and inspire and be inspired and challenged by, these are few. You're fortunate to come across these people, you're fortunate to build relationships with these people, and just the time investment involved, the energy investment, the psychological investment means that you'll never have more than a couple at any given time. And that, of course, if you're lucky. But that's why friends are so important, and that's why Aristotle is going to spend 2 whole books in Nicomachean Ethics talking about friendship. Because it's more than just humans being social creatures. To live the best human life possible, I need not just my own pursuit of virtue, I need really good friends around me.